One Love. Advertise with us and let's help you promote your next product, project, or event. More than 1 million viewers every month in Guyana and all over the globe. No project too big, no project too small. Delta 9 Media. Let's help your project reach its widest possible audience. One love, Delta 9 travelers. One love. Where are you tuned in from right now? Where are you tuned in from right now? Big up to all the travelers in the chat. Thanks for being a part of this international digital connection. What's going on your side of the globe, Delta 9 travelers? Drop it into the comment section. Where you tuned in from? Where are the travelers coming from? Today, Delta Sundays, and we live with you. What's going on? What's going on? Seen a lot of nines in the comment section already. Big up yourself, Rue Grenade. Thanks for tuning in. Rue Grenade, Desiree. Thanks for being a part of the live presentation, Desiree. Big up yourself. Thanks for always being a frequent flyer right here on Delta 9 Travelers. Frequent travelers in the live. A whole lot of frequent travelers. Kim Raj, big up yourself. Thanks for being one of the early travelers in the life coming in from where? New York. Yeah, one of my favorite cities. I really miss it. I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes you just miss it as you're in PA, you're up in the mountains. You say, hey, you miss the hustle and bustle in New York, Brooklyn, Queens. Could easily jump on the Belton. Couple of minutes, you're right in Little Guyana. You could get all the things them that you could get from home, right? New York is a city like no other. Sometimes it's almost feel like if you're part of GT, but just different weather sometime, right? Thanks for tuning in and being a part of the live presentation. I tell you, we got so many headlines to get into. We got a live pack presentation. Edmond is a part of the live with us right now. Good night to Delta 9 Media and others on the flight. Thumbs up the live. I'm telling you, that's the most we could ask for. I'm telling you, just subscribe if you can as well too. If you feel like you want to be a part of this movement right here on Delta 9 Media, where we present the headlines in a neutral manner, highlighting all the things that's very important that we should keep updated with. Right here, Kim Raj is saying, okay. Oh yeah. All right, persons coming in. You got persons from New York. Vibert is saying one people, one nation, one destiny. Definitely that's the motto of the wealthiest nation in the world. Guyana, right now on the books, one of the wealthiest nations in the world. Right? And we gotta remember though, as we move in to this live presentation, it's very important that we hold on to that focus because we're going to be getting into some headlines that's going to help us to analyze what's really going on as it relates to the wealth of our nation. Pick up to all the travelers from early that are a part of this live presentation. So many headlines that we're going to get into. We're going to be hearing from the great Mr. Hampton Green is going to be giving us some insights right here on Delta 9 Media, among others. But let's jump into this as we're boarding and we're getting into these headlines right here on Delta 9 Media. If you didn't already, ladies and gentlemen, take a couple of seconds. It costs you nothing at all. As you come into the live, you ticket onto the flight. Just hit the thumbs up button. Just hit the thumbs up button. That's the free way that you can support independent media. That's the free way to support Delta 9 Media. Big up to everyone in the chat right now. The year we're going on is a Sunday, and we got some content that we definitely want to highlight.
Two women came out with a song. Cardi B and a woman called, what's her name? Megan Thee Stallion. And they came out with a song called WAP. I will not go tell you what the WAP means. It is not kosher for this platform here tonight. But they say they have the WAP. And no man can leave them because they have the WAP. WAP, WAP, WAP. Are you serious? Cardi B said in the song, I don't cook, I don't clean. Let me tell you how I get that ring. Because she have the WAP, WAP, WAP. But the same Cardi B with the WAP, WAP, WAP. Offset, who was her husband, cheated on her and they divorced today. Are you still with me? And Megan Thee Stallion, who said she had the WAP, WAP, WAP. She was together with Clay Thompson. He just had an affair, infidelity, have all kind of woman on her head, and she go on a big live and cussing about how the man wicked and wicked. I say I thought you had the WAP and nobody could leave you because you have the WAP. Let me tell you, ladies, WAP not keep no man. Come on, if you want a man who wants to be kept, you have to find a man who knows the Lord. Are you still within the house of the Lord? Because WAP, WAP, WAP can't keep no man, but a man who loves the Lord and serves the Lord is a man who can treat you with love and respect. Am I talking to in the house of the Lord today? I know some of you go research tonight what WAP is. Don't come back and tell me nothing. A few years ago, two women came out with a song. Cardi B and a woman called, what's her name? Megan Thee Stallion. And they came out with a song.
I'm telling you, things that we should consider as we analyze what's taking place right now, because listen, different kind of world, right? Different kind of world. We got all the travelers right now in the chat. Who's live with us right now? Kim Raj is saying, yes, Guyana is the healthiest country, but poor management. Guyana have the most natural minerals. I didn't mention that, but big up yourself nonetheless, Kim Raj, for highlighting those details. I said the wealthiest, one of the wealthiest nations in the world on paper, because we have less than 1 million persons in the country right now. And as far as the resource and stuff like that is going, we're talking about wealth. Even though your health is one of the most important things as it relates to the wealth, right? Yeah. But one of the wealthiest nations in the world, meaning that Guyanese are some of the wealthiest citizens in the world per capita, if we analyze it, right? It's on the books, and that's why we're so important, and persons are definitely highlighting a lot of these details to us. We gotta make sure that we got the right stewards, the right persons in place to make sure that we see some of this wealth, we see some of this money that's coming in, because there's a lot coming in, and we gotta be wise. We gotta come with a unified front towards taking place, right? Recently, we caught up with some of these details coming in from Team Green, the leader of Team Green, going into Parliament right now, right? And he had to say about what's going on as it relates to the opposition.
Discussions between the APNU and WIN. Those discussions did not lead to an agreement. I personally risked political capital and lost political capital by stepping into those discussions. And I was unsuccessful in bringing about some kind of an understanding. And I will say that the major issue on which there was lack of movement was the sharing of the spoils in Region 10. Specifically, WIN refused, and I have put evidence in the public domain to this effect, that Wynn refused to offer the APNU the vice chairmanship in Region 10. There were other issues, there were other regions at play, but let's leave those aside for now. That would just complicate the discussion. So this impasse could have been avoided if an agreement was struck. Let me jump ahead for a second and say also that there was similar reluctance to have sharing of the spoils during the debates as it relates to the speaking time of shadows. All right? Proportionately, we would have asked for, I think, eight shadow ministries. One would have gone to Forward Guyana. That would have been 8 and 1, 9. And I think 20, sorry. There were 20 ministries. And so we would have asked 8, 11 to Win and 1 to Forward Guyana. We weren't able to strike an agreement. Mm-hmm. So if an agreement had been struck in relation to the chairman and vice chairman, the sharing of the spoils, we would not be having this particular discussion today. Now, there was an election for the chairman, and it was not as clear cut as you were trying to make it out, Adam, because we saw a situation where Win, I think, got 9 seats. The APNU's candidate got 9 seats as well. Mm-hmm. And there are questions as to where that other vote came from.
Right.
So it is not, let me say this without, I don't want to delve too far into this. It is not as straightforward as it would seem that because Win has 9, that they would automatically win the vice chairmanship. They do require 1 more. Right. I believe Forward Guyana has said that they will support. But what happens if there's a defection from Win? Right? Okay. But let me go on 1 second. Let me go on to the issue of the chairman. I personally believe that democracy is undermined by the delay. I said personally believe in having a chairman and elected for the regional council. That regional council, we've had the budgets, and that regional council, that chairman and vice chairman and so on would not have been consulted. But this government is not enthusiastic about consulting anyone. They didn't consult with the opposition parties. I don't think they consulted with the trade unions, or at least trade unions not supportive of them. But democracy is undermined by the delay. And the faster it's fixed, the better.
Right. So, I mean, I just want to point out, you said you lost political capital by trying to get a deal between Win and APNU. But the failure of that attempt should not have led to the kind of stalemate that occurred, because clearly...
I'm telling you, Honorable Mr. Campbell highlighting, say, listen, this is how I lose with Win. This is how I lost with Win. What y'all think about some of what we're hearing right there? I'm going to try to put the banner up on the screen so persons can call in with their views as we continue to get these highlights coming in from the Honorable Dr. Campbell. Right?
Really, the election should have gone ahead, and the fact that the REO has not called it clearly showed that the PPP is prepared to sort of allow the status quo so it can control through the REO and whoever it is it has influence over. So that even if you didn't strike a deal, surely that should play second fiddle to the need to get the chair and the deputy chair elected based on the results. So I'll just make that point.
Well, let me say that politically it became very difficult because forces aligned, or that they didn't say, I don't think they said the AP, it was PNC and the PPP are gone together. And you did allude to your questioning, right? That the PNC and the PPP are now together. They're able to do what no one else has been able to do before. The PNC and the PPP are together. No such thing takes place, at least not as far as I know, and under no circumstances will I engage in the PNC or the AP and you to decide to form an alliance with the PPP. But forces allied.
So you are getting the clear understanding of the parameters of what's going on so far within the opposition. And Rebel Dr. Campbell saying, listen, the only thing I'm not going to be a part of is if the AP and you or the PNC say, look, let me part now with who? The PPP. Let me hear some more.
To win came out to push that narrative, and that was not helpful. Again, it was not helpful to opposition unity, opposition cooperation. I believe it impacts that even to this day.
Right.
Let me say the fact that you even asked the question and suggested it shows that it is impacting it to this day.
It does. If listeners are just joining us now, you're watching OGGN's podcast. This show is being brought to you by the Oil and Gas Governance Network, which comprises Guyanese here and in the diaspora. More Guyana oil-related material can be found on www.oggn.org. Members of the audience can give OGGN a thumbs up or like on the KN Facebook page or the KN YouTube page. The topic today is keeping the government of Guyana accountable, and we're pleased to have Terence Campbell as our guest. So, Terence, I want to switch now to the last budget. In the budget debate in Parliament, Finance Minister Ashley Singh more or less mocked the opposition for what he said was not speaking substantively on the oil and gas sector, which is, of course, the dominant part of the economy for now and the future. How do you respond? Do you think that you did a sufficient job as it relates to speaking on oil and gas matters, given its importance to the economy?
Let me say that I can't speak about the Win Party or for Guyana. I can speak to the APNU parliamentary delegation. I remember MP Sharma Solomon calling for all contracts in relation to gas, the energy, to be placed in the public domain. And I believe that I would have addressed some issues in relation to the Natural Resource Fund. But and again, this is politics, our hands were tied. And I have to go back to the issue of the shadows. We were originally offered 5 shadows, which we felt was inadequate. It was not based on proportionality. The same thing may have happened with the committee assignments whenever they come up, but that has a specific formula. Now, we rejected the offer of 5, and then we were reduced to 2, myself being the finance shadow, and the Honorable Dexter Todd to be the shadow of the Attorney General. And we also rejected that on a matter of principle that the entire team had not been treated fairly. So MP Sharma Solomon is the shadow for natural resources. And so in the space of 15 plus 5 minutes, he was tasked to deal with mining, forestry, oil and gas, Region 10, sand quarrying, all in the space of 15 plus 5. So it would have been difficult in that period and with the limitations in terms of time for us to properly address the issue of oil and gas. I will return to it maybe later this week, because there was an interesting point in that debate when I questioned the Honorable Prime Minister about, because I think I specifically laid out the case either in Parliament or just before, that the choice of Wales had been a political choice and not a choice made based on feasibility studies and so on. In fact, under the APNU government, I think Clonbrook was the original choice for landing the pipeline, and with a total cost of about 800 million, and we're now way over 2 billion. Right. So I think I laid out the case previously, and when you consider parliamentarians now, and you've got to consider both what we say in Parliament, which is limited because Parliament is rarely called, and what we say outside of Parliament, what we say maybe in our letters to the newspaper, what we say on our social media pages, what we say in press conferences, what we say in interviews like this.
Yeah, don't forget, Honorable Dr. Campbell highlighted as well that every fourth sitting of Parliament, the opposition gets to take the floor and present situations and things that they want to discuss, more than likely that persons would have called for representation on, or things that they generally want to highlight from the opposition's perspective. Every fourth sitting. So far, we had a sitting for the budget, and maybe if it's a rough average, we could say that is roughly one sitting every 6 months. So that means it's probably till late 2027. Then we might be seeing the fourth sitting that more than likely might give them the opportunity. Let's hope that that's not a reality. Let's hope that that's some bad maths by Delta 9 Media and everything moves forward in a faster pace, and they're able to do that even before the ending of this year, because something got to change with the way that this whole process with Parliament and stuff is going on. We all think about what we're seeing right here. We're hearing about food crisis, we're hearing about all of these other things, cost of living, gas shortage, and all of that going on, and there's no sitting of the General Assembly to discuss these very important matters, right-thinking Guyanese, right-thinking persons that are outside of Guyana, highlighting and paying attention to all what's taking place. It's very important, very, very important, because that's the formal way how things should be done in any democratic nation.
So I specifically, so one, the choice was political to my mind. Secondly, there is an issue, and you know this, that a lot of costs have been driven up because of poor soil, right?
Yeah.
And I think I lured the Prime Minister, and I will return to it soon in a video release, maybe over the next 2 weeks, maybe even before the end of this week, where I said to the Prime Minister, I said, listen, I have put up buildings and had soil problems, which is true, right? And I said, so feel free to let us know what happened. And he came up and he said, and I got to get his exact words, he said something, because we care about the Guyanese people, we had a second soil test done. The problem, Anna, for them, and to this day, I don't know if they ever revealed it. Maybe I missed it. You've been very close to, much closer to the action than I have been. They have never released a feasibility test, a feasibility study for the oil and gas, the gas to energy project. That has never been released. I've never seen it. Second, I believe that the soil test that was done originally was not done properly.
Mhm.
And that is the reason we ended up in, part of the reason we ended up in this massive problem that we have.
Okay.
He admitted to it in Parliament, and I have asked my PR people to go back and pull back, because I'll tell you something that happened when he admitted to it.
Mhm.
Anil Nandaland got up at that point and walked out.
Yeah.
I don't think he was happy, right?
Yeah. But once it's there in Hansard, you have it there. So it's really just to go back. All right.
Right.
So, just let me just briefly.
Hold on. Let me finish this.
Mhm.
So, within the limited time, we have addressed issues that we wanted to draw out on oil and gas. And even though it's long past the budget, so many things have been going on. I mean, including Marudi, you'd have seen me out there fighting with them.
Yeah.
Busy and on the ground. That's Team Green, making sure that things get done, right? Very, very busy and active on the ground. If only there was formalities in Parliament and funding for certain projects by the opposition, and if there was more implementation in certain communities coming from the government. I know just recently today I see Honorable Mr. Duncan and Honorable Mr. Andrews was out and about showcasing what's going on down Breakdown. If you see these holes and these waves in the road, and people talking about taking over streets and all kind of thing, and Breakdown, one of the most important streets that's run all through the city, straight from, you could come straight from the market all the way up to Coffee. One straight road, right? Supposed to be in better condition than those, some big pothole and waves and all of them things. Unnecessary. If there is maintenance being done on these roadways, right? You won't see all of that going on if persons are doing scheduled maintenance instead of waiting until things get to that level, right? They're wasting a certain money and time, right? Kim Raj is saying this. Why Guyana not having auditors reporting on all 10 regions, right? And ministries display to the public. I tell you, there's a very important question that you ask right there. We gotta ask ourselves, where is these auditors and how come they're not active? Because I'm pretty sure they gotta got persons that is taking care of some amount of evaluation as to what's really taking place. But when is this information gonna be public? Because we know that there's some amount of holes in what's taking place. That can't be normal what's going on right there. Not at all. Could never be normal. Could never be normal. All right. Kena Music. Kena Stone Music is highlighting this. Give thanks for the going down and the rising. Wake up yourself. Can't keep the government accountable when outside influences is playing a big role in our resources. When you think about it, you gotta ask yourself. So that means Cane Stone, right? Any person you put in there in them positions of power is gonna get them same problem. You think any person that we put, given the fact of all of these outside influences like we're talking about, right? You think any person that go in these positions of power is gonna have these same problem? What do you think about that? Or it depends on who you put there and what persons might gap on them. What do you think? And this is another powerful point right here. What Kim Raj is highlighting, Kim Raj is saying there's no bulk petrol reserve in Guyana. And we gotta ask ourselves how come and why. You understand? Who's responsible for us establishing something like this and how many benefits? What's the pros and the cons for something like this? I know it got a whole lot of benefit to having your own reserve because you could always reserve the aisle, and far as I can see, these prices just keep going up. These prices keep going up right now per barrel, and oil don't spoil. So everything else is self-explanatory as it relates to that. Because we should have something like that, given that we have so much of the resource. And if we plan on getting the most from our resources, we definitely should have something like that in our nation. I wonder if that is one of the things that is going to be established in the gas, the energy project. And then I want to know what's really going on with this gas, the energy project. What's the steps that is still left undone, and how much longer do we have to wait before we actually get our first set of electricity coming in from this project? Because it's been a while we hearing about this gas, the energy project, Delta 9 Travelers. What I think. It's been a while now we hearing about it. And it's a while now we hearing about this other situation right here. Well, it's about to get a bit more clarity and a bit more in depth come Monday moving forward, because we know this situation is about to go before the CCJ. What situation we talking about? This one right here.
Criticism from Government Minister Priya Manijan for wearing a brooch depicting Venezuela's map with Ghana's Essequibo region included. Rodriguez was wearing the brooch during a recent meeting with Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley. Political scientist Dr. David Hines has called out Barbados and any other CARICOM counterpart that is mum on this matter.
And so these small societies, these small economies are being pushed by that tide of transaction. So whether it's Mia Mottley or Campbell or our president here, they're all being transactional.
Dr. Hines noted that Ghana emerges as a crucial player within CARICOM, but its treatment towards Cuba is now inherently haunting them. If Ghana can effectively foster unity among Caribbean nations, it may help navigate the transactional tendencies that now dominate regional politics, he reasoned.
So therefore, Dr. Hines, if I understand you correctly, Ghana is in no position to criticize the Caribbean.
That's it.
Because it's like they're doing
the same thing. So if me go there to Venezuela and talk to the lady with our territory on her chest and think, Cuba would say, look what you do to us.
Hines highlighted the Caribbean nations face the dilemma of balancing national loyalty with regional cooperation amid economic pressures. Prime Minister Mottley has on numerous occasions vocalized the importance of regional integration and has praised Trinidad's stance against Venezuela's aggressive behavior. However, her more recent engagements with the Venezuelan regime suggests a complex balancing act.
I am arguing that at this time when we have this tide of transaction, we have to turn to culture as a means of surviving and then overcoming.
Antonio De reporting for the AGP Nightly News. Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, is facing criticism.
Big up the whole team over at HGP Nightly for giving us those very important and insightful details on this matter of countrywide importance. And that's why we got to have a unified front on what's going on with this, because this is about to come before the CCJ this week, and we're definitely going to be bringing you all of those updates and the details connected to the case and everything right here on Delta 9 Media. So make sure you hit that subscription button and put on the notification bells so you will get all of the updates immediately as they come in right here on Delta 9 Media. Big up to all the travelers right now in the chat. Thanks for being a part of this international digital connection. Thanks for tuning in with Delta 9 Media. I'm telling you, we got so many headlines to get into. Now we're going to get some insights coming in from the Honorable former Finance Minister of Guyana, Mr. Winston Jordan.
Distracted by a Pacific crisis, a European war, or a domestic succession, and decides that its interests are satisfied by oil access and minimal cooperation from Caracas, Caribbean states could find themselves facing a resentful Venezuela with far less American attention than they anticipated. This is the Honorable Former Finance Minister of Guyana, Mr. Winston Jordan, speaking.
Big up the whole team over at HGP Nightly for giving us those very important and insightful details on this matter of countrywide importance. And that's why we got to have a unified front on what's going on with this, because this is about to come before the CCJ this week, and we're definitely going to be bringing you all of those updates and the details connected to the case and everything right here on Delta 9 Media. So
That possibility is not a prediction, it is a reminder that geography is permanent and alliances are not. CARICOM's task is not to choose between Washington and Caracas, as though the region were a trophy in someone else's contest. Its task is to defend Caribbean sovereignty, preserve the Caribbean as a zone of peace, and ensure that no member state is isolated when its territorial integrity is challenged. That means supporting Guyana without turning every bridge to Venezuela into a battlefield. It means engaging Caracas without allowing it to redraw Guyana's map in our presence. The broach was wrong, but it was also useful. It reminded us that diplomacy is not only what is signed in communiques, it is also what is displayed, normalized, photographed, tolerated, and left unchallenged. CARICOM should now adopt a simple protocol. No official regional engagement shall be used to display symbols, maps, pins, flags, language asserting a territorial claim against a CARICOM member while that matter is before an international court. That is not hostility, that is discipline. We can remember Petro-Carib and still defend Guyana. We can value Venezuela and still reject provocation. We can cooperate with extra-regional partners and still refuse to outsource our judgment. The Caribbean has long survived by being diplomatic, but diplomacy without clarity is not wisdom, it is caution without conviction. The broach showed us that. Now, CARICOM must show that it has learned. An excellent piece by Professor Robinson that should be required reading not only for Ali, but for his entire cabinet and especially his foreign policy specialists, his foreign policy ministry, and all his advisors. Sympathy is not going to cut it in this matter. A clear, consistent policy will. Our partners must understand you. But you flip-flopping all over the place, I said somewhere else. Because of their hidden, which is now open, policy of trying the axis, the Trinidad, Suriname, Guyana axis. Guyana has been soft on Suriname while pretending that we are aggressively going after what is ours in terms of our territory. They have been soft. As I said to you a couple of weeks ago, it was under Cherry Jagan, who didn't want to go into the Federation because he was afraid of all those Caribbean Afro people swamping Guyana.
I'm telling you. So that might be why Honorable Motley would have made certain steps like was made recently, because if the same party, their former late great leader, right, was taking certain protocols, then Motley, being the scientific and being the political leader that she is looking at it and saying, boy, if these calculations are right, these persons might move in that direction because that's former leadership and that's the perspective that this party would have held before. What y'all think about what we're hearing right here from the great Mr. Winston Jordan?
So when he came in, he removed all barriers to the entry of Suriname into CARICOM. Unconditionally, he removed all barriers. One of which was no country could become a member of CARICOM who had border issues with a member of CARICOM. But Teddy Jagan caused that to remove and allow Suriname unconditional entry into CARICOM. Now today, you got the ratcheting up of the iPass by Suriname with very little response. Don't want the usual noise.
I'm telling you. So it seems like if Monday starting, the case is gonna, commence with Venezuela, but it seems there's other things in the mix that we definitely gotta take care of. That's why we ain't get time for no division. We don't have time, and this is not the place nor the time for us to be moving, divided, and fighting against one another and them things. That makes sense. With all of the wealth in the nation and less than 1 million people, Suriname trying to encroach, Venezuela trying to encroach, the president wearing it on a brooch, and we can't realize that we can't go in on like that because people gonna peep we yard and say, hey, they divided. Them ain't even unified amongst themselves. We could do this. We could pull the one saw and pull the other one saw, and we go through the middle and get what we got to get and do what we want. We can get time with them. You see them, they're rich and stupid. They ain't even know what's going on in their own country. There's what persons gonna looking at me and saying, well, we can't tolerate the why. These are wise people, but they, and with great wealth comes great responsibility. So now we got to make sure that we moving forward with discipline. Discipline, respecting one another. Discipline, showing that we could look out and be neutral with one another. And every person that is a Guyanese in Guyana and those that are willing to return to Guyana should have equal opportunity in a safe environment so that we could come together and build the nation that we need. Build the nation that we need. This is very, very serious times in the world. And we're going to get into some of the serious implications that's coming in because of all of these conflicts and a number of other things that are coming down the pipeline, whether we like it or not.
Yep, nice. They can't do anything. Suriname got us like a vice. Little Suriname got us like a vice. Over our own territory.
I'm telling you.
Why? Because we gave up even the little leverage that we had. Now we're telling Suriname, you got to remember that we allow your companies to come in here without any condition and so on. And then you run to tell us, oh, well, we have temporarily solved the issue about them using the river. And so now, no, not so. Not so. This is our policy made under our law. Not a peep from the president or his cabinet about whether what is being said now is not what they understood. That is how they have us. And who are the sufferers? Their own supporters on the quarantine there who have to pay the 5,000 and 10,000. But wait a minute, I forget. They are going to rush in like the White Knight and pay the 5,000 on behalf of their people there. That is what they're going to do, quietly, without us knowing. They got Guyanese who attending meetings with Suriname, with the altered map. And then piously coming afterwards to say, well, no. Suriname just brush swat us like flies. It's the same thing that Venezuela is doing us, poking us in our eyes. Because you got the government bereft of any competence to deal with these matters. Young Granger government dealt with these matters in a manner that caught the attention of Venezuela. Look what Delcy talked about, what Ali in her response. Disdainfully. You think they could have done that with Granger or Burnham or one of them? That is what they have on us. A most incompetent, inconsistent foreign policy, and especially frontiers policy. And as I'm saying, your own Guyanese lack the patriotism. You got Guyanese media people and advertising people who are organizing Suriname type meetings in Guyana. And with
I'm telling you, where are we going with an attitude like that? Pick up yourself to the Honorable Mr. Jordan, wherever you're there right now. Thanks for all the hard work that you put in many, many years, and you're still putting in the work till now, making sure you come out and you give us, the younger generation, an opportunity to understand certain things as you process it through your many years of experience and your many years of expertise and the knowledge that comes with that, right? Cheryl is saying good afternoon, Delta 9, and all the right thinking Guyanese people in the country have to be more proactive. They are still sleeping while the country is being sold out right under our noses. Ah, boy. It's crazy. So crazy. Kim Rogers saying that's so true. King Stone Music is highlighting this. Watch out for those 100,000 plus Spanish in Guyana waiting for orders to overthrow the PPP government. Watch and learn. I hope there's not a plans, because that plan there wouldn't be a plan at all. That would be a disaster for a lot of persons, and them included, because they might see we little and think we soft, but they will not be tolerated. So let's hope that that's not a plan that they have in mind. But nonetheless, they say in peacetime you gotta get prepared for combat, because you don't want to be caught in an unsuspecting or get caught with the element of surprise in the time of battle, right? Big up yourself for dropping those insights. King Stone Music, big up yourself every time.
It's the map of Suriname with our new river triangle is plastered on the walls and appearing on the television and so on. Right here in Guyana. Where does that leave us, the citizens? A little foreign policy committee.
Greetings, you're on to Delta 9 Major Life.
In which you
Yeah.
It was spelled by my producer. That's how they spell it in Jamaica. It's written in patois.
Okay. Cornerstone.
Yeah,
All right. Good.
Stone that builders refuse now be the head.
Yeah, Cornerstone. All right, I get it now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, 100,000 plus Spanish in Indiana. Them up on standby and waiting for orders. Remember I tell you. Yeah? You see all these incidents that we have, I know that they are telling you nothing about that bombing movie had, you know. They tell us Spanish banner and they have to get in church and this and so on. Look at all the incidents that is occurring in Guyana.
Yeah.
And our police force don't even have the slightest clue of solving some of these incidents. These people are not well trained. Right? They don't even have the slightest clue what kind of bomb was used in that incident at the gas station. I know the barriers in rugby here in the gas taking these Spanish people in the other simple. These are militia trained people.
Yeah.
Gangs and what these people are well trained with heavy duty artillery, big guns and talking for people that can't relate to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These people are well trained people. Yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
They all laugh for these people and these people around here and thinking these people is friends. These people is not these friends. Spanish people do not like black people. I'm living in the North for almost years now. And if you go across Spanish business, come from with black people in the these people don't like we, they don't hire we. They don't need why we know this. Like every other nationality. Because you're known to be some of the biggest spenders, black people. Them people are for we. Them people are for the people. How much Spanish businesses we have in Guyana? I want the Guyanese people that is living in Guyana to buy some of these Spanish-owned businesses and count the amount of black people that are employed in these businesses in Ghana and come back on the program and give us the report.
I
Right,
tell
take
you.
it, chat. Give us this report and give me all a task to do. Check these people and don't check these people simple. Look at the incident we had the other day when a partner gets shot in front of the Spanish business. All them cameras out there. I know the police can tell me who shoot the partner in front of the business. And that's a Spanish owned business.
Yeah.
Going to that 6 business where that guy got shot and find out how much of the people they walk in that they employ. So these are some of these foolishness where y'all gotta wake up and y'all go play the others and go and party and drink and wait until the next event to come and y'all gonna blast who they the most latest brand and this all y'all the money y'all. Y'all family them in America.
Yeah.
Y'all
Wait, man. People still getting caught.
them people don't get just in the more ideas here. We're in America for so long of doing some of these things there. And we always go past them things. After we ain't got we ain't going to the extreme like what these people in Ghana get from money. You know, people have their from big parties. Some other artists coming in from Jamaica and everything, the advertisements for TikTok and all over. That's all you see is just advertisements for parties, Bridget. That's all you see. I listen to them, man. Love a man.
Love a man. Asking. Big up yourself. Cornerstone Music. Big up yourself and thanks for calling in with those insights right there. I hope we still getting caught up in the brand name thing. Yeah, let's see China done expose what's going on with the brands them. All the brands them is making China for low cost, and then a lot of these companies, these big brand name companies, just buy them and just, merchandise them differently and present them to you at a upscale price. And there's a lot of persons that getting got. Check back your timeline 10 months ago. Less than a year ago, all of the information was being highlighted by these companies because a lot of them were getting cut out from the market. You understand? Check it out. Don't get caught up in the biggest brand name is your last name. And as long as you're repping for Duck and you're repping somebody else, you're selling out yourself. You're selling out yourself. Let me hear some more from the former finance minister.
You got the majority. You don't want to convene it. Why? Why? When we were sending people to The Hague on this ICJ matter, President Granger made certain that Jaguar was informed, and not only that, he made certain that a representative of the opposition was on every one of those committees. If my memory served me well, it was Teixeira who accompanied them to The Hague. My apologies to her if it wasn't her, but I seem to recall her accompanying the official delegation going to The Hague. Who from the opposition has been invited to go to The Hague next week? Who? In fact, I have even learned that the government is refusing to meet with the opposition leader to inform him of developments in relation to the meetings next week. How we have a national issue and a partisan approach to a national issue? That is what we are doing.
It seems like this is what we're doing, Honorable Mr. Jordan. It seems like we don't realize just how important Guyana is. Y'all ain't realizing what's going on. I'll show you a little bit of what's going on in Region 11. And then we're going to jump back into some more headlines that's coming in on the ground. I just want to highlight some of what's going on in Region 11 so persons could understand, because sometimes we just think that these pastures on the other side is just a bed of roses, everything is just easy. And Some of it is, but most of it, there's things that you definitely got to pay attention to. Let me see what's going on in Region 11. Right here.
Locksmith. This is a civil act. Why y'all here?
This is the second time that this video keep doing this, you know. I'm gonna try one time to bring it back and then we're gonna move forward with some of these headlines, I'm telling you.
Locksmith. This is a civil act. Why y'all here?
I don't have tools.
No tools.
No,
Good.
no
No
tools. We can break the glass.
Don't break the glass.
We have an order to break. It's all right.
Yeah, he's in the tent.
We can break the glass. I have a warrant. I have a warrant to actually break the glass. Yeah.
The lawyer's on the phone with the judge.
We just want the stay order and we're good, but he has a different order. Understand me?
Y'all don't know what's going on. Y'all. This is some bullshit.
Twice.
What you see? It's not a criminal act.
That's the locksmith.
Bring him up. Locksmith. Yo, Brown.
Don't fucking touch me.
That's the locksmith? Yeah.
Persons are experiencing a high level of deed theft. Persons stepping in with all kind of documents proving that they somehow own your property. You got elderly people and they got other persons that are getting forced out of these big brownstone properties up and down Eastern Parkway and other areas in Region 11. And why I'm highlighting this? Because persons in the diaspora tune into the channel as well. We get a big following, and we get a whole lot of the frequent travelers that definitely from New York and other places, right? So we highlighting these things, but we highlighting it even more for persons in Guyana to understand what's going on in foreign, what's going on in the US, so that we could realize just how much of a beautiful nation we have. Don't run away and feel like everything is green on the other side. The greenest grass, the best opportunities that you could get is the opportunities at home, where you don't have to be a migrant, where you don't have to come and be in another person's country, where you could be around familiar faces and familiar culture, and you don't have to deal with certain things. Here I'm telling you, they got right now an interest rate that is close to almost 7%. If I could be mistaken, I could stand corrected. In Guyana, it is 2 and 3% on them things. You got to understand there's a lot of benefits that come with making sure that our country is being run in a real way. We're one of the wealthiest nations in the world per capita on paper. We're going to hear these details from the Honorable Mr. Hampton Green as well. Going to highlight some of this for us, but we get some more of these details from the ground in New York.
Let him get to the door. Let's go. No problem.
If y'all touch me, I'm suing.
No, we have a warrant.
If y'all touch me, I'm suing. Well, give me a chance. Give me a chance. Don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. I know how to walk. Don't fucking touch me. I'ma go there right there. I'ma go there right there. I can't go no fucking where. I can't go. Don't fucking touch me. Don't touch me. Don't, Take your hands off my back.
Listen,
Don't touch me.
I'm making sure you're safe. I don't want you to fall.
I'm not gonna fall. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Okay.
Just don't get your hands off of me. Don't touch
Listen,
me.
I want to make sure you're okay. I don't want you in the
I'm
middle
okay.
of this, all right?
I'm okay, but don't touch
I
me.
just want to make sure you're okay. Personally. All right, let's sit down. Ready? Come. Come on, bring your come. Bring the car.
That's what you are doing.
Y'all need to be ashamed of yourself.
Don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Look at what you did. Don't fucking touch me.
That's some of the scenes from Region 11, Brooklyn, New York. That's what's going on. A whole lot of deed theft, and it's becoming a rampant crisis in the boroughs. I'm telling you, you gotta pay attention to your documents and all kind of thing going on. I just wanted to show you so you could understand and you could realize that it is wise to make sure that you secure everything for yourself in Guyana. Very important, you know. Very, very important. You ain't got to travel abroad to be wealthy if you analyze what's taking place, because we are one of the wealthiest nations in the world. This is some more details coming in from international borders. What's going on? When persons want to test the climate of any community, a smart person just go and see what's going on in pawn shops.
Signs of a wobbly economy can be found inside a local pawn shop, where more people are trying to get their hands on some extra cash. We wanted to know, what's the state of the pawn economy right now? When we visited a shop in Stoughton, we found out things are changing.
This is very typical of the type of jewelry that our customers may bring in to sell or borrow on.
Customers walk into Empire Loan in Stoughton with an item and walk out with cash. CEO Michael Goldstein tells me after 40 years in business, he's seeing a shift.
Definitely seeing more suburban customers coming in than we have in the past.
More women than men. Goldstein says rather than selling items outright,
yeah, mostly my jewelry.
many get loans on same items over and over again. 90% buy their items back again, and they're just bridging a gap.
My customers basically are working and they have too much week left at the end of their paycheck, and then a bill comes up and they're like, oh man, what am I going to do about this?
I appreciate, getting a few dollars when I need it.
You can actually see, when you look at what is happening in your store, how the economy is going, even sometimes before Wall Street.
We think about ourselves as a canary in the coal mine, so to speak. Most of my customers don't necessarily have a lot of money in the market. My customer isn't the guy walking into the Ritz-Carlton. He's the guy holding the door at the Ritz-Carlton. When that price of gas goes up and unemployment starts to tick up a little bit, my customers are hurting.
Pawn shops have been a darling of Wall Street for about the last 18 months.
Entrepreneurship professor Bruce McKinnon with LaSalle University says that uptick at pawn shops is one of a few changes they're tracking right now.
One thing that's striking is before, the average consumer during the course of a year would shop at about a dozen stores. In the last 2 years, that's climbed to 21 stores in the average year. People are chasing bargains, period, especially in groceries.
More shoppers are using apps to plan out their purchases and stretch their dollars.
The number of store brands that are being purchased, the private label brands, people are seeing great value in that. Those are very strong signals that our consumer economy is getting a little more brittle, a little bit more fragile.
Back at Empire Loan, Goldstein says they're keeping a close eye on the price of gold and the jewelry coming in, so they can keep the loans going out and keep some of their customers afloat, even for the short term.
It really is not the pawn shops that you see in the old movies, for sure, and it isn't even really the pawn shops that you see on TV necessarily today.
Michael tells me the price of gold has a huge impact on their business. It's high right
The price of gold has a huge impact on the pawn business. And Guyana has some of the best gold in the world. Put two and two together and analyze what's really taking place here. We got to analyze what is really taking place in our beautiful nation and internationally as well. We all think about what we just see right at Delta 9 Travelers. Drop it in the chat. Call it in. It's very, very important that we make sure we up to date with these things. So nobody can get no 6 for 9 and make you nothing, you know. As long as you pay attention to what's going on. You see, when you analyze the pawn shop, you could realize just what's going on in the streets, what's going on in the communities. Big up yourself to all the frequent travelers, everybody that's in the chat. Flight, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for tuning in and being a part of the live presentation. Stan Lee's also saying this. Stan Lee saying Delta 9 Media, if there are 40,000 male Venezuelans in Guyana, every one of them is military trained. Watch and see. I'm telling you. This conversation was shared with the president. I don't know how long ago the person might have highlighted this. But a person boldly stepped forward to Honorable President Ali and highlighted these details right here.
I'm so proud. For me, it's an honor to be in front of you. I would like to give a thanks to Guyana to open the doors for all Venezuelan immigrants, that we have now a big dictator, criminal, corruption in my country. His name is Maduro. So we are almost 100,000 Venezuelans in the beautiful, beautiful Guyana. 100,000. 100,000. I'm the pastor of Spanish Church here in Hostel. I'm working with them. So I'm so grateful, Mr. Honor President.
We will work with you guys so that we can create better conditions for people to live also. All right?
Yeah. Thank you, Guyana. Thank you, President. I God bless you.
All right, so we got a chance to hear that directly an address given to the president. So we now we alone talking about what's going on with the amount of persons coming in from a certain country that got beef with me. Venezuela got beef with me. We can't hide and play like if we know what's taking place.
The boom, the oil boom for the people of Guyana, it's right here. So we've got now big financial firms saying that oil is going to hit around $200 a barrel. $200 a barrel. If that happens, the nation of Guyana, which is already booming in oil revenue, is going to see a boom never seen before. Mm-hmm. Is the PPP government prepared? Are they prepared to be able to keep this oil revenue in the nation of Guyana? That's the question. Because right now it seems as if the revenue's coming in, but people on the ground aren't really seeing it the way they should. So I've been calling for a massive cash grant because I know that's guaranteed. That's guaranteed money that stays in the nation of Guyana. Mm-hmm. It seems like the PPP government doesn't want to do that. They don't want to do cash grants. But at oil with oil going to $200 a barrel, without a cash grant, that is 100% irresponsible. It's one of those things that, to me, proves if this happens and they don't have a cash grant, it will prove that the leadership of Guyana needs to be replaced without a doubt. Because anyone with common sense can look at the situation and they can see that that type of oil revenue coming in for that small of a population without giving out a massive cash grant. Come on, guys. It's wrong. It's almost as if the leadership of the country wants to punish the people living in the nation. So I'm not saying that will happen, but I am saying they need to start talking about a cash grant, because at $200 a barrel, it's about time.
200 estimated to go to 200 a barrel. And if it reached them levels there, the 100,000 cash grant is now what they're supposed to talking about. They got to talking about more dusty. Y'all in here going on. They got to talking about more money. And persons got to hold their foot to the fire. That might be one of the reasons why we see no sitting in the National Assembly. You know what I mean? There's so many things that we got to analyze. You know? So many things. And guess what? We are an oil producing nation. So anything that's going on with oil around the world, we got to pay attention to it. We can't say, oh, we in them area there, you know, we just Guyana over here, so in the Caribbean, this no. Internationally, we are very, very important to what's going on. Remember just recently when they had the conversation about the oil tanker that gets seized somewhere close to the Strait of Hormuz. It was flying, whether false or correctly, fraudulently or legally. It was associated with Guyana. That's how far reaching our industry is, and we're exporting to the US as well. You understand me? But let me analyze what's going on with OPEC and persons or nations that would have recently left and what those implications are.
Oil producing exporters. The energy minister says that it will make it easier for the UAE to meet changing demand, but it is a major blow to OPEC at a time when the Iran war has triggered a global energy crisis and as the price of oil hits 3-week highs. CNN's Eleni Giokos joins me now from Dubai. Eleni, and so with the UAE doing this and making this announcement today, I believe they are the third or fourth largest producer among OPEC members. Talk about the significance here and the impact that it's already having within the region.
Yeah, it's the third largest producer within OPEC, and it's really significant. I mean, frankly, it's a bombshell announcement today, Biana. You know, they joined in 1967, one of the founding members, and that was just a few years before the formation of the UAE. And this is, you know, really going to shape what we see in the oil markets. And you were talking about WTI, you know, responding quite aggressively on the back of this news. And we've seen an increase in oil prices as we hear one of the oldest members withdrawing from this organization. This is importantly an organization that can exert influence on oil prices. It has the ability to control supply. So when oil prices go high, then you know, we start to see quotas from these oil producing nations, and that starts to temper off oil prices. But when oil prices
So yeah, I see how we should be paying attention to this. Why? Because this is a major change in what's going on globally with oil, and Guyana is one of the nations that is producing at a high rate right now. So we gotta pay attention to everything that's going on in OPEC and internationally as it relates to oil and oil production. And we're gonna make sure that we update one another right here on Delta 9 Media. Big up to all the travelers right now in the chat. Thanks for being a part of the live, all the moderators, everyone, all the free
are low, that is also when they step in specifically to protect oil producers, that if oil prices are below what it costs to produce a barrel of oil, they can also play around with that. That's why they're viewed as a cartel. The UAE energy minister says this is not a political decision, but many people are focusing on the timing, given that we are currently in the largest energy crisis in the history of markets. Take a listen to what he said.
This is not a political decision. This is a pure policy position, and repositioning us to be in front of the world, taking the right decision at the speed that we aspire for. To us, it's the consumers are critical. To us, we need to attain to these countries who entrusted us to build the refineries based on our crude. And our crude today, Marban, is one of the cleanest, if not the cleanest crude on earth.
Do you want to stay healthy all year long? I did too, which is why I invested in Immunotech. This is the only product in the world that's been granted 78.
So really important to note here that in the statement that was released today by media, they say that when they joined the alliance, they have made significant contributions as well as even greater sacrifices, they say, for the benefit of all. And that's because they've been adhering to a quota system. As of April 2025, UAE was allowed to sell 3.5 million barrels of oil per day, when the capacity is around 5 million barrels of oil per day. And given that we've seen not only attacks by Iran on critical energy infrastructure targeted here on the UAE as well as other Gulf states, but also the closure of the Strait of Hormuz has completely changed the way the UAE views its position in the global energy markets. And they're saying they're going to start focusing on national interests and continue their commitment to stabilizing oil prices. But Biana, any way you look at this, many people are questioning the fate of OPEC right now, whether this is a precursor to more countries leaving OPEC, and importantly, what happens to oil prices from here.
I'm telling you, persons analyzing it, because remember, these oil prices is going to affect the prices of most everything. Very important.
A natural way to stay ready, baby. 'Cause I'm ready for you, Mr. C. The ultimate male supplement. Men's total wellness formula. Packed with essential nutrients for men's health. She'll call you Mr. C. 8 Butterfly Black Seed. Loaded with antioxidants and essential nutrients for your body's needs. Breathe better, feel better, live healthier. All the benefits of black seed oil without the taste. 8 Butterfly Black Seed Capsule. Unleash the best version of yourself with every goddess. Say goodbye to limitations and say hello to a better, stronger, healthier you.
Feet on soil, Guyana roots in my veins.
Hey guys, welcome back to the program. The United Arab Emirates just dropped the bombshell. Effective May 1st, 2026, they are officially leaving the OPEC oil cartel. This is the end of the Gulf solidarity. It's a blow to the world's most powerful oil group and a move that could send global oil markets into chaotic spiral. Right now, it's $115 a barrel. Today, what I'm going to do is to try to break down exactly why the UAE just hit the eject button, and why this spells disaster for global oil stability, and why import-dependent regions, especially the Caribbean, are about to face a crushing energy crisis they cannot easily escape. Let's get into this one. Welcome back. To understand why this is happening, you have to look past the official press release that was put out yesterday. The UAE's Ministry of Energy claims this is just about their long-term strategic economic vision and the need to be flexible. The UAE has invested heavily. The UAE has invested heavily in its oil infrastructure and wants to pump up to 5 million barrels a day by 2027 before the world transitions away from fossil fuels, okay? OPEC strict quotas were basically a straitjacket, keeping them from maximizing their profits, so to speak. This is about intense geopolitics and bad blood happening here. You see, for years, the UAE and Saudi Arabia has been locked in a quiet but fierce rivalry for dominance in the Middle East. As a matter of fact, last December, things crossed a massive red line when Saudi Arabia airstrikes targeted the UAE-backed proxy forces in Yemen. On top of that, there is a full-blown war happening right now between the US and Israel and Iran. And so the Straits of Hormuz, the waterway where 1/5 of the world oil flows, has been blocked. And the UAE has been furious at its Gulf partners for having a weak response to the Iranian aggression. Basically, the UAE looked around and decided they no longer wanted to be held back by an organization controlled by their rival, Saudi Arabia, especially at a time when their national survival and economic growth were basically on the line. So why is this so problematic for the rest of the world? Well, the UAE was OPEC's third largest producer. But more importantly, along with Saudi Arabia, the UAE was one of the only countries in the world with meaningful spare capacity, meaning they could quickly turn on the taps to flood the market with oil during a crisis to stabilize the prices. Now, by leaving the cartel, the UAE takes roughly 4.8 million barrels per day of capacity out of OPEC's control. The market is losing its shock absorbers, if you want to put it that way, because without the UAE, OPEC becomes structurally weaker and will find it incredibly difficult to stabilize prices. With Brent crude already trading at $115 a barrel due to the conflict with Iran, this fractured supply landscape guarantees highly volatile, completely unpredictable global oil market moving forward.
Unpredictable. As we can see, the prices keep fluctuating and the shortages keep presenting themselves. Let's hope that we have some type of formal conversation with everything that's going on right now globally in Guyana so that persons can equip themselves as they should necessarily moving forward, because this is not something we could just bury our heads in the sand and think it's just gonna pass. No, we got to make sure we pay attention. Very important, y'all. Let's see what Barbados do. Barbados went forward and said, listen, this is a global oil crisis that is coming and we got to partner up with one of the countries. Well, the country with the biggest oil reserve in the world. Barbados said, listen, I gotta do. What's Guyana gonna do? What is Guyana really gonna do moving forward? What's our steps? What's the conversation being had in Parliament? Up to now, we hear nothing like that. Up to now, there is no parliamentary conversation. There is no unified front with everything that is taking place. We all think about what we're hearing right here, Delta 9 travelers. Drop it into the comment section or call it in. Let's have some real meaningful discussion on these headlines. Some of them that I would have highlighted, and definitely some more headlines to come. From who? The Honorable Mr. Hampton Green, the elder, is here to highlight this for us right now.
And you know who they are. Give them ministerial positions and other positions. Has repeated the whole cycle of doing what the Imperial Master did.
What you ought not to say.
What?
Do not say what you ought not to say.
That the present administration has repeated the whole cycle of doing what the Imperial Master did. Keeping the majority of people in the place, identifying a few folks, and you know who they are. Give them ministerial positions and other positions, so you tell the world we have a mixed governance. But we know there are just 3 or 4 people who determine how the money is collected and how it is spent. And this is an old imperial trick beginning from what happened in West Africa and parts of India. The answer is we've got to educate our young people irrespective of race, color, or creed as the danger they face and the potential they have if they stand up like men. I listened to the Cuban ambassador who made a fantastic statement on color or creed.
Say that one more time for emphasis, Elder, because it's important It's important that we hear that one more time for emphasis. Very, very important. Very important that we hear this one more time. Information coming in from who? The leader of Good Green Guyana, the Honorable Hamilton Green.
The answer is we've got to educate our young people, irrespective of race, color, or creed, as the danger they face and the potential they have if they stand up like men. I listened to the Cuban ambassador, who made a fantastic statement at this hotel in Charlotte Street a few Sundays ago. And I was appalled that our president can repeat the same language that his new bosses are using about democracy in Cuba. What is democracy? When one man or a cabal make all the decisions as we see here and elsewhere, ignoring the fact that the Cubans have given unbelievable help to our people in this country, trained doctors, engineers, sacrificing their own people. And we have a government who are preaching about Cuba must go for democracy. What is democracy? By their term, the demons gone crazy. But I'm repeating myself. Unless we teach our young people in primary schools, secondary schools, and in our university, the history of this country, to give them the strength to face a new form of being recolonized, we are in serious trouble. Where the big bucks are not going our way. Where we have projects cost billions of dollars, and we can't. Where I live, for the week, we had blackouts, but yet you have 2 Turkish ships and all this billion spent.
Yeah, I'll hear some of what the elders highlighting right there. Yeah, I think about the Delta 9 travelers. Drop it into the comment section. Call it in, because listen, big up yourself to the Honorable, one of the longest serving mayors in Georgetown, Honorable Mr. Hampton Green, right? Highlighting some details, I'm telling you, that if we don't take heed to what our elders are pointing out, then as the youth, we're going to have a whole lot of hurdles that we're going to have to deal with.
You know why? Money is not a problem. It is management. And so long as you pick management, not based on competence nor experience, but on who are friends and who can split the dollar, we have this situation continuing into the next generation.
Mr. Green, to this end, what message would you have for Guyanese, even as we are celebrating independence in some levels of uncertainty? What assuring message would you give to Guyanese in closing?
My message is to let parents, adults and elders pass on to their children the struggle for independence. And don't take it for granted. And to prepare an educational package within the communities, within the schools, within the households, to say to our young people, we've got to protect and preserve that independence, which we got 6 years ago. And that independence must go beyond the flag, an anthem, and a few slogans. It must mean harmonizing and mobilizing our God-given resources for the benefit of our people.
I'm telling you, I wonder how many persons in certain positions of power got plans that are similar or might heed some of these insights coming from one of the longest serving mayors, right? And one of our politicians, one of our leaders that would have been around even before independence, that could give us that insights, that could give us that historical foundation coming from all those many, many years of experience and service. I want to say a special thank you to Honorable Mr. Hampton Green for all his many, many years of service and for still at this age in his life coming forward to highlight and to educate the younger generation on some of these insights right here.
Is our people, in particular the African slaves, who civilized the entire coastal belt by digging thousands of miles of canals and dams. Walter Rodney's book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, is a good example of what I'm talking about. That we must respect and remember the sacrifice of our ancestors. The Indians who came here practiced deferred gratification so they can climb the ladder. We must not surrender that to clever form of being recolonized. And that's what was happening as we celebrate 6 years of independence. I have no doubt that you hear all kinds of statements from the ruling cabal, ignoring the fundamentals that we are not benefiting from the grace that God has given us. I have a theory that if we don't make use of our blessings, it will become a curse. Good weather, plenty of resources, and say to the government, we don't want you being ubiquitous, controlling everything. And that's what we're hearing. Let the Constitution work. Let the concept of local government be real. Let the institutions and the commissions function as they were intended to function. Our young people, therefore, must be bold and not, look, when I attended the thing to honor the Cubans, I spoke to many young people in and out of the public sector. And the recurring statement, they were afraid to show their faces at the Square of the Revolution and at the bar in Charlotte Street. They were afraid for fear of being victimized in one way or the other. We must eradicate that fear.
International Media Day. We got to eradicate that fear. You hear what Honorable Mr. Green is highlighting? You got one of them agitation where they're saying, oh, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Watch what's going on in the nation already. And if something is not said, nothing is done, then we're on a slippery slope. And we could already see what's taking place. Could already see what's going on.
Because fear in these days is our worst enemy. The message is, our young people, be fearless without breaking the law. Speak up, write. And even among the PP supporters, the majority were not getting the benefit from our bounty. It's going to the hands of a few cabal. Speak up. Look at the figures. I read Cartoon over the past few days. Figures are frightening. Another 200 odd million US for this gas station project. As they said, we now become the milking cow. Young people of Guyana, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Don't be afraid. Speak up. Your ancestors, whether they were slaves, Aborigines, or indentured laborers, worked hard to build this country.
Telling you, can't let all of them go down the drain. All of them many years of toil, all of that blood that was spilled, all of the sacrifices that were made, right? Can't let them go down the drain, buddy. You, Honorable Mr. Green is highlighting. Got to stand up. Got to say something. You got to make sure that you highlight the details of what's taking place. You understand? Or else next thing you know, couple years down the line, Guyana is going to start to look like a nation we can't even really recognize. And who wants that for ourselves? We want that for ourselves, buddy. We got one of the wealthiest nations in the world. Some of the best food in the world. Right? One of the richest cultures in the world where you just find Hindus, Muslims, and Christians living together in one nation. Right? So, as a young person, I was able to learn from all three of these cultures. And then as I travel internationally, I start to see just how important that foundation was. Don't let it play you out of your blessing. Don't let them play you and make you think that, hey, I got to jump on a plane for go and find better. Better is in Guyana right now. Better is there right now. Don't let them make you nothing. Too many of us just get caught up and find ourselves in situations where we all over, and then you start to realize, hey, the grass might not always be greenest on the other side. Big up to all the travelers in the chat right now. Big up to all the frequent travelers in the chat. Thanks for being a part of the live. Big up to all the moderators. Janet is saying good night to everyone. Big up yourself, Janet, and thanks for being a frequent traveler right here on Delta 9 Media. Ronald, thanks for tuning in as well to the live presentation. Now, these headlines that have been coming in recently is connecting to everything that is going on in South Africa. One of the nations, as we go internationally for some headlines, one of the nations that has been subject to apartheid and a number of other hurdles that they had to deal with. Now, there's a inter-country battle, because I like looking at Africa as a continent with a number of countries, just like how you would look at the US as one nation with a number of different states, right? The same way, Africa, one big country with a number of different states. But look what's going on right now in South Africa. Tens of thousands of anti-immigrant protests took to the streets, right? Let's see what's going on. That's some of the scenes on the ground right now in South Africa. Telling you, persons taken to the streets. Look how many persons are out on the street protesting the immigrant crisis. And guess who they're protesting against? Their own African brothers and sisters. Mainly. It's crazy. It is crazy when we analyze some of what's taking place there in South Africa, you know? And as we look at what's going on in our own nation right now, in Guyana, we gotta analyze it and realize that we got wee little problems, you know. But it hasn't gotten to that magnitude presently, even though things are definitely, if we could analyze it, there's a lot of things that needs to be assessed and a lot of things that needs correcting as far as resources and stuff like that before we end up in a situation like what's going on there on the streets of South Africa, right? It's crazy when we think about it. A country that had to deal with so much apartheid and division amongst themselves, having to now deal with that level of protest. Well, recently, guess what? As we jump into some entertainment news right now. Recently, I don't know how many persons are familiar, but Travel with Zoe had a whole lot going on in the headlines recently that we got to update one another with, because sometimes it's good for you to really understand just what's going on in here with certain persons. Certain persons expect this level of privilege, right? And when this privilege is not given, or they see other persons enjoying certain privileges, they somehow feel slighted because of their entitlement. Let's hear what's going on right here. And let's hear what persons are saying around the world about this.
What do you guys think the narrative around this I Show Speed Caribbean tour would be if he was white? I feel like it would be so different. Like, I'm just imagining the comments. Like, right now, I'm seeing some people kind of getting a little bit shamed if they're literally like running after him or something. But aside from that, I'm not really seeing people being shamed for like coming out of their house to try and see him or to give him something or whatever. I'm not really seeing people being shamed for that. And, you know, people and social media pages seem to be thinking that his opinion is valid and that his opinion is important, like about these different islands and stuff. But I feel like if he was white now, the commentary would be so different. It would be like, why do we even care about his opinion? Like, we don't need his opinion about our culture. And if anyone was seen like giving him something or trying to go after him to get a selfie or something, I feel like they'd be told, oh, you're stuck in this mentality of worshipping white people. Like, oh, you need to stop thinking that white is better. Oh, remember, this person has no talent. He's only popular because he's white. Oh, you're self-hating. Bro, I feel like this whole thing would be so different.
I'm telling you, well, after that outburst, a number of persons analyze it, as I analyze it myself, and saying, listen, that sounds like if you got a little bit of, a little bit of envy for the brother I Show Speed, who is basically on a Caribbean tour, unexpected in Guyana, sometime closer to independence, right? Persons are analyzing it as well and calling a speed, as most persons could clearly see and hear was being said. And it sounds like a whole lot of entitlement. Drop it in the comment section or call it in. Let's hear what's going on right here.
Where's this bacchanal with Zoe now? Zoe jealous because nobody running. She don't like Speed. Like the bacchanal, Zoe making. I see Zoe in a real life. Zoe come see lots to do a video shoot with Big P. That video she do in the pool is by Insilas and Big P. And the first time I saw Zoe, I said, that fucking man, she had to knock me. She knocking doors. I said, that is the white woman. Underneath Zoe, I have some big bags, so like she's selling purse on fucking Charlotte Street. I said, that is Zoe. I said, yeah, if it's how she looking. Like one, them white people are no taste. No, but Zoe cannot get, Zoe, listen to me. You is a cheap fucking white woman. You come down Trinidad, 1 or 2 man fuck. You understand? You're doing content. You're doing content with your fucking hands and your cat at the same fucking time. Remember, you's a fucking nobody, All of them come here and they're feeling like people. The man high name, the man make his name, the little stupid boy make his name for himself. The KFC fucking asshole. He make his name for himself. You know the boy named Speed. He is Speed shit. He make his name for his fucking self. You come down here, you going all over the country. Nobody.
What Zoe, Travel with Zoe is talking about. Because Zoe is no way for you. Because nobody don't have time to chase you and run you down, Zoe. Because the places you staying in, is not safe. You going in the worst set of place and think people go run you down? No, sister, you will lead people to the death. I'm sorry. You will lead people to the death. And you have no money and you don't give back nothing. You are broken. You always on a budget. All you just show people in your video is how to save $3, $2, $5. You are broken. I've never really seen you went on a nice resort in the Caribbean. All you just do is just show the bad part, or the poorest part, or however you want to say it. You don't show nothing good. Who gonna follow you? People should be scared to follow you. You see the places you just be staying in? With that comment where you make there, now self they should chase you. They should pile some big stone behind you and chase you. When you go in the ghetto, they should stone you. Because I don't know where you come with this white, and if it was a white man, and if it was nothing. Zoe Noe. Cut it out. Oh God, I'm not cursing, Papa. Don't curse. Cut it out, okay? Just cut it out. Nobody have time for that. Nobody not following you. You only renting a set of Airbnb will look like latrine. Like people just renting you, they latrine, outside latrine, somewhere in the garden, and you okay with that. Not everybody is okay with that, Zoe.
Is essentially commenting on content creators' Caribbean tour.
What I find amazing is that the only reason she's even remotely relevant is because she's a white girl. So,
but doesn't she travel? Doesn't she make content or something like that?
Here's why she's famous, because she's somebody who is Caucasian, and she goes to places where somebody who's Caucasian probably wouldn't normally go. It's just amazing that she thinks we care about anything she has to do or say, right? Other than the fact that we're just amazed that look at this person who clearly has no concept of risk assessment or consideration for where she is and who she's speaking to and how she acts. So for her to come out and have
telling your influencers and media personalities globally, identifying some of the shortcomings highlighted in this last outburst coming from Travel with Zoe, or Travel with Zoe, right? I'm telling you, sometimes it's better. You never hear if you ain't none good to say. It's best you don't say nothing. Big up yourself, Deborah. Thanks for being a part of the live, Deborah, saying good night to everyone. Good night, Deborah. Thanks for tuning in.
an opinion on anything to me is amazing. She should really look into bathing and brushing her teeth before she comes to the internet. To dare say that we wouldn't care if he was white or it wouldn't get that much attention, like that's just so disrespectful to Speed and so disrespectful to Jamaican people.
Like, I don't know that persons should really be beating her up for an opinion. You understand? I do think she should stay in her lane. Like I said,
the only reason people are coming down on her now is because she's white?
Do you think?
Not because she had a ridiculously racist opinion?
Let me ask you, do you think if that same comment came from a darker hue?
Yeah, I would say they're dunce and racist. I would say that they're an unintelligent person who made a racist comment and probably didn't think critically about the context or the perspective of why they would say something. So
what I do know is
persons calling it out and definitely highlighting the shortcomings in the statement. What y'all think about the Delta 9 travelers? Drop it in the comment section or definitely take a couple of seconds. Call it in. Let's discuss some of these headlines and some of the very important and trending details coming in right now. As we get into some details from a brother dealing with certain hurdles on the ground as it relates to everything with the car and a particular company. I'm telling you.
I know who SBM sort, and nobody can touch these boys. But as a man tell me, come in, settle settle. And then you gonna do the back, buddy, and then you're gonna still repossess the car. You understand what you understand, buddy? You understand what people is put you through, bro? Put you through. Bro, give you me money. You tell me how much you want. You want so much. Look, $1 million. It's not me fault if you things come defective. You engine ain't working. You transmission ain't working. The steering working. I must take it and I pay $1 million already. And you vehicle ain't working. You say you change the vehicle.
There's a lot of problem. Engine, transmission. There's a lot going on with them, man. There's a lot.
No. When you do look, but it's afterwards and them are going to check vehicles and going over to store and them are checking paper, man. Say, yo, with the tag and thing. This is how I know the vehicle that tampered, man. Say, yo, you would have laughed. If you, I bet for me life. Sir, there's not even a customer. The whole Guyana know. PAF 6395 rhonium, black rhonium, all over the news. All over the news, bro. Not a listen. And again, I ain't in politics. This is me. Me. You don't see it, listen, when it's highlighted all over the news, you don't see the opposition put it. You don't see nobody put it up. Who this man? Who this man that, bro? I can't understand who is BM sort. And nobody can touch these boys.
Nobody ain't no paperwork, man.
No, but you ain't just to tell your man fetch you a vehicle. Bro, I work 16 hours a day. I can remember like about 1 o'clock I dropped to sleep. And I dropped to sleep working. Man, come, pick up your vehicle and gone. No notice. Not even a call. Up to now, BM sorting call me. I go and do the report. And it's the police station call me not too long and say, hey, yes, BM Soul represent. Do you understand what's going on, buddy? Bro, nobody ain't call me, buddy. Nobody ain't call me. You understand? The thing is, but they just recorded a man telling me we settling. Repro man saying, yeah, we. If you're settling for something, if you settling for something, you know you do wrong, right? I want nobody. I think it's me on, it's me money. I pay for that.
I'm telling you, when you hear the frustrations coming in right there from the customers going into this particular service, from your hearing word of mouth about what's going on, then you gotta make the wise decisions and know how you got to be moving forward when you're gonna be purchasing vehicles from certain persons, from any company. To be honest with you, you're supposed to get a mechanic on the ground with you to inspect what's going on before you sign off and move off. Because when you move off, there's a whole different conversation that's going to be had. But a lot of persons got a lot of views about this particular situation is where certain persons commenting on how people are spending their money. Where we're going at.
Hey guys, so I was on Facebook and I saw the AG appealing to people who go in and gamble with a cash grant. Number one, how y'all know what people doing with cash grant? How y'all know people gambling cash grant? But anyway, all the scrutiny y'all have when it comes to cash grant have the same scrutiny with what's going on with the oil money. Anyway, where it comes to cash grant, where it comes to me and what I do with my cash grant, I raise my children whole year round. I don't depend on the government to raise my children. I don't need it. The government money can't mind my children. So I just mind my children whole year round. So when I get a cash grant, if I have anything to do for them, guess what? Cash grant take one. Like last year, my son needed a new computer. laptop tech one, right? That puts a little strain. I don't need to go on the bank. I don't need to take out my own personal money. So for me personally, I use a cash grant where it comes to my kids, whatever they need. I mean, with or without a cash grant, they will get what they need. Hello, right? But I use a cash grant for my kids. Yeah. I don't use a cash grant to do my hair, my nails. Let me tell you something. My nails and my hair is done all year round. Boo boo, the government can't pay for that. The government lend money can't pay for my hairstyle. Sorry. Yeah? All my girls who know how much boho braids cost, you know what I'm talking about. Right? So for me, I take the cash grant to deal with my children. I do what I need to do for my children. I buy their stuff if they want something special, if they want to go to camp. I either send my kids to church camp. I will buy their stuff to go to camp and their luggage and stuff. Yes. That's what I use the cash grant for. My kids' school clothes, on I said to use the cash grant because during cash grant time is when school clothes and everything is raised. So guess what? I buy them things before cash grants.
People say, hey, you're watching this little spenny like that for man. Why you watching the little spenny? You're watching the oil money like that. You're watching the contracts like that. Why you watching this little small freck like that? Watching this little money too close, buddy. Cut your eye on this bread, no man. Cut your eye. Why you getting so involved in what's going on? With that, but guess what? It seems like it's another win for Lola, even though a lot of times you could count a lot of her situations as some great hurdles that she had to face as a young woman, as a young mother of 4, out and about, plying her trade, right? Putting out hit after hit after hit. We know about the other side. We don't know about what's going on the other side because they making no nice. They ain't got no hit songs. Big up yourself, Lola. They don't got no hit songs that we could talk about. Right now, let me analyze what's taking place. Lola Doll got probably just as many or probably even more present day hits than the reigning dancehall queen in the country that give the dancehall queen one of her biggest hits. And we talking about Spice. Right? So big up to Lola and big up to the whole team and everything that you're doing over there. All the hard work. Because it's a lot of work, And that's the thing we separate the great artists from those who just trying a thing and playing around with music. You got to be ready to work. You got to be ready to put in the hard work to produce the product. Up to now, we ain't hearing no hit tune. Up to now, there is no hits. And guess what? The last track that was put out as a diss track is another hit on the Lola belt. Right? So it seems as if it's 2 birds get hit with 1 stone. Because a lot of persons that used to be close, they ain't close no more. And a lot of persons that used to there as a part of the entourage, no longer part of the entourage. They have to get pushed aside because they're coming with envy. But they ain't coming with work ethic when they gotta do it for themselves. They ain't coming with no hits when they gotta do it for themselves. The hits gonna speak for themselves. That's where the talent is gonna shine. That's where the hard work is gonna shine. That's where the cleverness of Lola Doll is gonna shine. One of Guyana's greatest artists. Say what you wanna say, But eventually persons are gonna realize, even though a lot of persons might be judging it from a moral perspective. I always maintain this concept right here on Delta 9 Media. Morality don't got nothing to do with creativity. Creativity is creativity. Morality is morality. The two could sometimes travel together, but not always, because if you think about it, a child is going to be born regardless of how that child was conceived. And that is the ultimate sign and the ultimate presentation of creativity, right? And if a child would be born under any circumstances regardless, it's telling you that ultimately creativity, don't got to be hinged on morality. So let's hear some of what's going on from Lola herself as she highlights some of these hurdles that she's facing. Nonetheless, some of the great triumphs that she's having as well. Two birds with one stone. What's going on the other side? We hearing nothing. The quiet, quiet. We hearing no hits, and the hits is what you need, because right now you're talking about almost 10 hits that persons know in Guyana, right? A number of tracks. Number of tracks from Come Downstairs to Pinching to all kind of other songs that you got that is hits. On the stage, you got your catalog. You got to build your catalog. Don't worry what Lola doing. You got to worry with you. So you getting caught up in a clash and you ain't got no hits yet. I surprised Lola even listening and throwing any tracks towards what's going on with this back and forth. It should have just been abused out, because really, I don't know how serious this person is taking their career. But I stand corrected. But let me see what's going on the other side. We ain't hearing no hits. Let me hear what Lola got to say right now.
Liar. You right telling you? No. When this whole shooting went on, when this whole shooting and everything went down, and I catch back, come back to normal, like when I gained consciousness and everything, my plans was to leave Guyana. That was my plan. My plans was to leave Guyana. I feel bad because Melandro already going on. He see save me, jump over balcony, they see the 34th. I decide to put in papers for he. Well, I have papers. I have papers. I have a residency in someone else's country. I have my documents. I'm not gonna say which country, but I have my documents. And I can leave Guyana, migrate at any time that I want. The reason why I'm still here is because of Melandro. Melandro, I married he for give he fucking papers. Me married Melandro because I know Melandro long and me he went through a lot. I was feeling bad because I didn't want to leave the country and go nowhere and the killy or the doing nothing. So as the situation was hot and it was so hot, I decided to marry him because I can give him his papers and he can get a break to go. And I turned and said, Melandro, I don't want you to put this out there. Don't put this out there. If you don't get your papers and you want to move on with your life, you can move on with your life or whatever. But I don't want my business out there. I would not make the same mistakes twice. It's not one thing, it's not two things. It's not one thing, it's not two things with Melandro. Melandro does talk so much. I am scared to even do certain things right now. Like, I scared so bad. Why would you call one mistress and tell him? Why would you tell him one? What he ain't tell one mistress is what he ain't want tell one mistress.
I'm telling you. Two birds with one stone. Two birds with one stone. That's how Lola feeling with it right now. Big up to all the travelers in the chat. Big up to everyone who's a part of the live, all the moderators, everyone who took a couple of seconds. If you haven't already, take a couple of seconds, buddy. Thumbs up the live. It costs you nothing to hit that thumbs up button. That's the free way to support independent media. That's the free way to support Delta 9 Media every time. Costs you nothing to thumbs up the live. Plus, consider subscribing and being a part of everything that we got going on right here on Delta 9 Media. Big up to all the frequent travelers. Big up to all the new travelers that are a part of this live presentation. Thanks for tuning in and being a part of this special international digital connection right here on Delta 9 Media. All right. The flight has landed right here for this edition of Good News Sundays, right here with Delta 9 Travelers. right here with the Delta 9 Travelers. I'm telling you, a very entertaining and jam-packed live presentation. Make sure you get the right luggage. Thumbs up the live on your way out. And if you're going to catch this in the rewind in the future, same thing. Thumbs up the live on your way in. Make sure that you thumbs up the live. Make sure that you drop your comments in the comment section. And let's have some meaningful conversation about these important headlines that we would have highlighted right here on Delta 9 Media. One love to all the moderators and to everyone in the chat, everybody who dropped insightful commentary. Floyd, Debbie, Deborah, Neil, Ronald, Janet, Cornerstone Music, Cheryl, everybody in the live, Rugranat, every single person. Paulette, thanks for tuning in and for being a part of this live presentation. So many moderators, Vibert, so many frequent travelers in the live. Big up to everybody. Desiree, Renata, every single person in the live presentation. Thanks for tuning in and for making this live what it is. One love, and I will catch you in the next flight. One love. Advertise with us, and let's help you promote your next product, project, or event. More than 1 million viewers every month in Guyana and all over the globe. No project too big, no project too small. Delta 9 Media. Let's help your project reach its widest possible audience.